If you can't manage your money, why would I trust you to manage my money? Absolutely not. Starting out, I probably would have targeted the youth a little bit more. My foundation started as a kid, and not everybody has that foundation.
Gap between the knowledge that you get when you're growing up and the knowledge that you're held accountable for is wide. So you're immediately held accountable for all of this stuff, and then you aren't taught what to do with it. And the resources on that, they're not widely advertised.
Yeah, it's taboo to talk about money for real. They might not pay for me for themselves. But one thing we all love, the youth, when they come
to kids.
Right. Oh, they got a financial literacy class? Yup, I'm gonna sign you up. If I cannot find a way for you to afford me and still be able to maintain your lifestyle, I'll give you your money back, right? Because I'm that confident in my ability to be able to help you attain the goals that you want, that you set forth to yourself. So it all wins. I don't care how big or how small, right? Yeah. Because you were incurring late fees, interest, or whatever the case may be. So we're immediately saving some money by just not even paying late fees.
Right.
We're paying our bills on time. And so I think once we focus on those wins, they gradually start to see it working. They lean into it all the way. And once we get that lean in, okay.
Now all you have to do is think about that decision or think about the long-term goal. And if you keep that long-term goal in your mind, decisions are easy to make.
I compare it to personal training. I ain't been eating too hot.
You said you wanted to have a hot girl summer.
And I don't want to answer to them because they might make me run a little more. At the end of the day, if this is a goal that I want for myself, I'm going to show up. You always say you got to spend money to make money. When I hired help, I brought on another preparer last year. Mm-hmm. It was just like the best season that I've ever had, like the best tax season. I was able to do more, right? Because I have more help. I'm able to bring on more clients. And
I've been there too, or I know a lot of my other clients have been there and they've been through it. So you can get through it. It's instrumental in building that rapport and getting them to understand that they're not alone. Because that's honestly the biggest thing.
You basically said it all. I ain't got nothing to add to that. But yes, absolutely.
So what financial or business systems do you have in place to ensure that all of your businesses run smoothly, and even when you're not there?
That's where I'm working on. I am working on those systems.
Welcome to Credit Chats, where we deep dive into the financial maze and uncover how everything from your daily coffee to your dream home impacts your credit score. I'm LeBarron, and thank you for joining us. Each episode will explore the ins and outs of personal finance, hear from experts, and answer your questions. So tune in, take notes, and transform your financial journey with us. Let's get started. Welcome, everybody, to another Credit Chats. I am your host, LeBarron, and this is the Just the Tip segment where we give you a credit tip to help you in your everyday life. So you want to build credit while saving a little cash on the side? A credit builder account might be your secret weapon. Here's how it works. You make regular payments, but instead of accessing the loan up front, it sits in a savings account until you've paid it off. Then, boom, you get access to the funds, plus a shiny credit boost from all those on-time payments. It's like building credit with training wheels. Just remember, missing payments can hurt your score, so keep it steady. And just so you guys know, it's not the traditional savings account where you can just go and withdraw and move it and stuff around. And it also is a fee for that too. So do your research on which ones you want to use. There are a couple of them that I will put down in the notes and you can have at it. Welcome back to another Credit Chats. We have Tia Uzzell here, who is an entrepreneur, financial expert, and founder of Uzzell and Associates, where she offers customized business and tax solutions to individuals and small business owners. As a certified bookkeeper, tax preparer, and enrolled agent, Tia specializes in empowering her clients through education on finances and business management. In addition to her finance expertise, Tia is the owner of The Tough Spot, a DIY tufting workshop business focused on helping people reconnect with their creativity.
As a mom, Tia is passionate about balancing professional success with family life. Her personable approach and dedication to financial literacy have made her a trusted resource for individuals and small business owners seeking to improve their financial well-being. Welcome, Tia.
Woo! Where's my audience? Where's the clap?
They out there. You gotta hear them. You gotta hear it.
Push the button with the clap. Let's do it. Run it back.
No, welcome, Tia. We're just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna fire off these questions. All right.
Let's do it.
How did you first get started as a financial coach, and what inspired you to choose this career path?
Oh, okay. How did I first get started? It all goes back to grade school. As like funny as that sounds, or ironic as that sounds, kids don't really think about finances in school. But for me, it started really young. I know growing up, everybody parents open up that, Bank of America savings account, whatever. So it started there. That's when I started to learn about like financial literacy and things like that. And from there, it went to me getting money for grades, right? I used to have my dad sign a contract. Like, it was legit. It used to tell me like, hey, this is how much I'm going to get for these grades. Like, it was a whole employment thing. Then when I got into high school, I did dual enrollment. And so that really changed the trajectory of like my financial future. So I graduated with my associate's degree at 18. I went to USF, graduated with my bachelor's degree. And along the way, you listen to your parents, right? Making the financial decisions. They tell you, you think they have your best interest at heart.
Right.
But also you don't know what they don't know, and they don't know what they don't know.
Right. And with the information provided, they give you their best advice. Course.
And so from there, it was just, okay, I'm starting to learn this like financial game, right? After I graduated college, my college tuition was paid for. I did take out like $15,000 in student loans type of thing. I went directly into my master's program.
Okay.
While in my master's program, I bought my first house. Once I bought my first house, I paid off my student loans after I graduated. Literally like 5 months after graduation, I paid off my student loans. And from there, that's where I developed like that true passion behind personal finance, because once I really learned how to budget, once I really learned about credit, like that was when it was like, okay, something not connecting here. What my parents taught me growing up is it's not necessarily wrong, but it's not getting me to the places where I need to be. And so that's where I started honing in like on personal finance. And I was just, you know what, let me help people, right? Because it's the people, our people, that we end up not having that financial literacy. And so we end up making poor choices. And so I was like, let's do it. Let's tap all the way into it.
There you go. That's that. But like you were saying before, that path of least resistance isn't the one that we learn. And we were talking about this a little while back, just the gap between the knowledge that you get when you're growing up and the knowledge that you're held accountable for is wide. So for us growing up, and of course, we know the first thing they shove in your face when you get on a college campus is, and sometimes before that, is a credit card. So you're immediately held accountable for all of this stuff, and then you aren't taught what to do with it. And the resources on that is very slim, and not slim, but they're not widely advertised.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Even growing up, even the smaller things, like nowadays we hear people talking about adding their kids as authorized users to help with their credit and things like that. So that way we don't fall back into that cycle of having no credit or having bad credit because of those decisions of, I'm going to take out a credit card when I'm in college.
Yeah. And that's honestly the same thing. Like, we're getting into the knowledge part of it. That's a lot of what I do as well. Just educating people on what credit is about. And we talked about this again. I don't just want to fix people's credit and then they don't know what you did and they don't know how to use that credit in the future, or they don't know how to keep it where it is. So education is the main thing. Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So we're teaching people how to fish. So
absolutely. I think where you and I differ is that you focus more on the credit, where I focus more on the budget. And I'm like, hey, let's focus on this budget and your credit is going to follow, because we're both focused on changing the habits. It's just depending on where we're focusing. It is a little bit different there.
Exactly. Yeah. Can you describe a challenge that you faced while you were building your financial coaching business, and especially in the early stages?
Financial coaching, my biggest challenge is people don't want to pay. I'm going to be completely honest about that. People don't want to pay for the financial coaching portion of it, right? A lot of people think that they don't need it because I always compare it to a personal trainer. I think I was telling you about this a little bit, is that people can go to the gym there on their own, right? They can come up with their own plan. They can figure it out. Right. So yes, you can figure your money out. You creating your own plan, is that plan personalized to you, or are you following a plan that you found on the internet, right? Does that fit your financial situation? It may or may not. Also, accountability is the biggest thing, right? Because I know for myself, I will start going to the gym and give me about a good 3 weeks in the gym. Give me about a good 3 weeks in the gym. And then by that time, I'm no longer a gym girly. I'm like, okay, things happen, life happens. And when you don't have that person holding you accountable, you tend to not show up in the way you should for yourself, right? And a lot of people don't like the answer to somebody, especially when it comes down to money.
Right.
And they don't want people in their business. And I get that. I get it 1,000%. But I know that through my programs, I've seen the progress that people have been making and the rewards that the rewarding feeling that they felt in even a short period of time of 3 months. Right. And then from there, we're supposed to be changing habits, because I don't want you to be with me past 3-6 months. No,
exactly.
I need you to stand on your own 2 feet, and I need you to make those financial decisions. But a lot of it comes with mindset. Changing mindset is, I think once we get to paying people in, changing mindset is one of the hardest things to do.
And so you have multiple businesses. Of course, how do you balance your time and energy between all of these ventures while still being successful in every one of them?
Honestly, if I had the key, I would tell you. I really wish I knew how I do it. Sometimes I ask myself how I do it. Honestly, support, right? My support system is everything. Being able to still have my parents and being able to rely on my parents, because I do have a 6-year-old. So I got to balance all these businesses plus my 6-year-old. Recently, I started using AI calendar thing that helps me like time block, because time management really is the most important thing, right? Because my businesses are completely separate. They actually take up 2 different parts of the brain, right? Because one is numbers and the other is creativity. And so it's just like trying to switch between the two. So I lean heavily on my support system and just making sure I have my ducks in a row. I think the success of them all boils down to me back to the numbers, because I have to make sure that I know my numbers in every aspect in order to make those sound decisions to continue to grow the businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess that leads us to when we're talking about financial strategies and things like that, what strategies do you use to motivate? Because I know you were saying like the biggest thing is that people don't want to pay and they don't want to show up for themselves either. So how do you motivate those clients who have tried everything but are still struggling, or they think they've tried everything but are struggling in their finances?
So when we have our So I typically, when I do a financial coaching session, I offer a discovery call, right?
Okay.
Because the first thing is that the first thing people tell me is, I'm already struggling with my bills, so how am I going to pay you? And during that call is where we comb through all of the finances and put this plan in place. And so in combing through those finances, like if I cannot find a way for you to afford me and still be able to maintain your lifestyle, I'll give you your money back, right? Because I'm that confident in my ability to be able to help you attain the goals that you want, that you set forth to yourself. So
Right.
I definitely will give you your money back. I have no problem doing that because I'm confident that we can achieve the goal together.
Right. So what, and the money back guarantee is definitely, that's a great selling point. And oftentimes you have the money, it's just where you're allocating that money.
Mhm.
And me and my wife have seen that as well, like when we've hired financial coaches and things like that, because it was honestly just we weren't tracking where it was going, and it
Mhm.
was on, and by cutting down on Amazon, we were able to afford stuff. So
Yeah.
definitely that's one of the strategies that we used ourselves. But
I like to buy shoes. People like to buy hair. Like, we gonna keep it a buck. Like, if we're gonna keep it a buck, there are things that you may have to scale back on, right?
Yeah.
But the beauty of it, and what I personally like about my approach, is that I allow you to tell me what you're willing and not willing to scale back on, right?
Mhm.
Because for some people, coffee is a non-negotiable,
Right.
right? They gotta have their coffee to function. So I'm not going to try to take that out of your budget completely. I'm going to try to work that in because that's what is important to you. And I think that's what makes my approach a little bit unique, because of the fact that I don't want you to stop living your life.
Right.
Because you're on this budget or you're on this plan and we're trying to achieve these goals. Yes, we are trying to achieve long-term goals, and that is going to come with some sacrifice. But I don't want you living under a rock, because that's just not going to be sustainable in the long run. So we need to learn how to balance it all up front.
Absolutely. So how do you incorporate your personal experiences in coaching when you help clients to feel more connected to the process?
So I incorporate my financial journey a lot. Luckily, I have not been one that has been at rock bottom per se, but I do know that there are some financial decisions that I made that I could have made better decisions, right? Case in point, like cars, right? Having a car note. And I was driving a 2007 Honda Civic. I loved my little Honda Civic. It was a 2-door, black on black. Anyways, I love my little Honda Civic. I tell my dad,
love it.
I do. I was so sad when that car gave out on me. Anyways, my dad was like, okay, we go to the lot, get a brand new car off the lot. That was my first car in my name. And I drove off the lot. I'm like, yeah, like I love it. It's a great feeling. One thing about me, I like to drive. I love to drive. And so I ended up putting like 50,000 miles on that car in 1 year.
Wow.
Right? Don't judge me.
I just said, wow, this is a lot. That's a lot.
I ended up putting like 50,000 miles on that car in 1 year. And my dad was like, okay, listen, the mileage is getting up there. Go trade it in. Right? I'm upside down on a vehicle. I'm upside down in the car. It's a 2013 Hyundai Elantra. And I go trade it in because I'm listening to a device of my dad.
Yeah.
Right. And I go trade it in. Like, he knows cars and whatever. But this is at the time where I was ignorant about car loans and things like that. So I didn't know what being upside down on a car meant. Like, my daddy just told me to go get a new car.
Yep. And those long-term effects.
And so I went and got a new car. Now I got a $500 car payment on a 2015 Hyundai Elantra.
My God.
Exactly. But those are the things that I like to talk about is those experiences and those decisions.
Right.
I have been $20,000 in credit card debt and
Right.
have been able to pay that off. I
Mhm.
have paid off my student loans, right? I've
Mhm.
purchased not one, but 2 homes. I've sold a home. So, and then I'm a single mom. I incorporate all of those experiences because at the end of the day, it's what makes me human and makes me a little bit more relatable.
Mhm.
So that way you can see where I've been and where I
Yeah.
am. And I focus heavily on taxes. And so we
Right.
get into that. I like to tell people I bought my first house on a $32,000 salary. And people think a lot of that's where a lot of people are making that and they think it's impossible. Now,
Mhm.
today's economy, I don't know, because that was back in 2016. So I'm gonna just put that out there. That was back in 2016.
Yeah.
But at that time, I could say, yeah, you make it 32,000. Let's work on this because it's not impossible. It might be
Mhm.
hard for a little while, but it's definitely not impossible.
Right. And that's where that collaboration comes in too, because I know it's not the same thing as 2005, 2015, whatever it was, but a lot of times we don't want to put off temporary gratification now for long-term success. And that's like what we were talking about before too. With the car loan, you didn't know that the long-term goal here was to make sure you could afford the other things that you want in life. You're like, Daddy said go ahead and trade it in. I'm gonna go ahead and trade it in because that's what they know. So
Mhm.
he was probably looking at it more so as like you don't want to pay more in mechanic, like breaking down things like that. Again, with the information that they had, they gave us the best thing that they knew at the time. And the same thing with my clients. I give them the same thing with some of the things that I've been through because the only reason I got into the credit side of it was because I went through a lot of it. I've been sued by credit card companies and got out of that. And not that I've ducked or anything like that, but I've been through that whole scenario. So when they try to scare you with the suing scenario, I can tell my clients, hey, it's not as bad as you think. Nobody's going to take you to jail for this. You're not, you're not, as long as you answer them, you'll be okay. So just walking them through those kind of things and letting them know you're not alone. I've been there too, or I know a lot of my other clients have been there too, and they've been through it. So you can get through it too, is instrumental in building that rapport with them and getting them to understand that they're not alone. Because that's honestly the biggest thing about it.
Absolutely. You basically said it all. I ain't got nothing to add to that. But yes, absolutely.
So, what financial or business systems do you have in place to ensure that all of your businesses run smoothly, and even when you're not there?
That's where I'm working on. I am working on those systems. I'm
Okay, what
working on those
systems do you
systems.
want to put in place?
So right now I'm in a growing phase. I'm more in the startup phase in the tough spot. We just
Hmm.
launched that. So
Yeah.
I'm really hands on with that. But at Uzzell and Associates, I am in a more of a growing phase where in the past 2 years, have hired people to come in to do taxes. And because at first it was a one man show, right?
Mhm.
I'm doing the marketing, I'm doing the taxes, I'm doing the customer service, I'm doing it all, right? Because as
Yep.
solopreneurs, that's what we do.
Everything. Oh, the CEO.
Exactly. And so in the past 2 years, the biggest thing that I've learned is like you you always say you got to spend money to make money.
Mm,
And when I hired help, I brought on another preparer last year.
mhm.
It was just like the best season that I've ever had, like the
Right,
best
right.
tax season, right?
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I was able to do more, right?
Mhm.
Because I have more help. I'm able to bring on more clients. In that regard, that's where I'm really focusing right now is just growing in that aspect. As far as actual systems, like I have my CRM, that's what sends out all of my emails and it's all of the automations are set up and the click.
Mm,
I brought somebody on to set that up because
yeah,
your girl is not
yeah.
that's not me. But again, outsourcing where I lack, right? So for the tough spot, that has been the biggest thing. A lot of people
Mhm.
see these social media posts and they're not me. I like I want you to know that social media is that is the one area that I hate. Everybody got
Yeah.
that area of business that they hate. And for me, it is social media marketing. I
Right.
absolutely hate it. I don't even really like social media for my own personal life. So to have to do this in business is just like daunting. So right off the bat with the tough spot, I was like, no, I'm going to hire a social media manager. That is the first thing I'm going to bring on board because I can't. And I give kudos to her because it was her who helped change the trajectory of that business, right? She was the one reaching out to influencers. She was the one managing the social media and all of that stuff so that I could focus on the other things in the background and building the business and hosting the classes and doing those things. I think in all aspects of business, for me, it's just building those teams so that I can step back a little bit.
And a tough spot. And I saw that before I even knew who you were. And just so you guys know, her dad is my neighbor. So God sent her daddy to move beside me so we could connect and be on credit chats together. Definitely, that was one of the things that I did see that stood out. Just, I was like, this Tufton spot is everywhere. I've seen it on social media, and I'm the same as you. I don't like social media. I love technical aspects just by like cameras and stuff like that because I love to do that, but I love to be the one behind the cameras. Normally, I'm on that side of the camera.
I just told you I don't like this right here. I just told you that before we.
Yeah, so thank you for coming on this side of the camera.
Of course.
So what role does mindset play in financial success? I know we touched on it a little bit, but we want to get a little deeper into it. And how do you help your clients shift their thinking about money?
Oh, every client is different, but mindset is the like foundation of financial success, right? Like your mindset has to change. You can't be set in your ways. You have to be open to try new things in terms of finances. Working with clients, changing their mindset is hard. That is probably one of the hardest things, like I said before, that I have to do. And in order to succeed in that area, I typically challenge them on their why, right? I always lead with like, why is this so important to you? Some people, it may be coffee, right? Why is coffee so important to you that you need to keep this in your budget, right? Some people, a lot of things, they don't know the why. They have this hold on it and it's just, I don't know why I can't let this go. And then a lot of it is being able to reel them in. So getting more structure around your finances is very hard when you're used to living the way that you've been living however long. And so once we start to try to get you on some type of structure, growing pains, right? And so from there, it's just continue to encourage them, continue to show them where like the progress that we've made, right? Even just something so small, right? Like one of my clients, she's a business owner and we've been working together for a year now, more on business and personal, but like focusing mostly on the business. But it was through her business and working with her on her personal finances. When she came to me, her taxes was a $20,000 tax bill. And so she's a young girl, never worked a job, and which is amazing that you have this successful business. But also we had to learn how to get her personal finances in order and combining the two without combining the two. But now when we did her projections, it was like, okay, mid-year, we did her projections and she was projected to only owe $4,000. And it was like, okay, let's come up with a plan and let's work on this and figure out how are we going to bring that down by tax time. So that's just kind of one example in tax, but I think being able to show them where they started and where they are Even if it's something as simple as, hey, before you met me, you weren't paying your bills on time.
Right.
And now
Right.
we're making timely payments.
Yeah.
That's a huge win. And we got to celebrate those wins. I celebrate all wins. I don't care how big or how small, right?
Yeah.
Because you were incurring late fees, interest, or whatever the case may be. So we're immediately saving some money by just not even paying late fees.
Right. Right.
We're paying our bills on time. And so I think once we focus on those wins, they gradually start to see it working. And once they see that's working, they lean into it all the way. And once we get that lean in, okay.
Light bulb.
Yeah.
But everything, like you're saying, like everything is a relationship. And when you get to the why, because me and my wife were even talking about this, because we're over like a marriage ministry at our church. But a lot of the times when you get into conflict and you get into miscommunications, it's because you don't understand the why. So even when you're in a relationship, because like I said, everything is a relationship, and the relationship you have with money could be something that is tied to a memory that you have. Me and my dad used to get coffee all the time, and he's passed away, and I can't just let that go right now. And that could be the why, but you may not understand that until you dig into it and you keep asking, okay, why? And then the other thing about that is, like with people, when you find out the why, you have more grace when it comes to that. But you can also get to the root of it. And if it's something that doesn't serve you anymore, at least you know that now. Finding out those whys is important in any relationship.
Absolutely. Like I'm a big retail therapy girl, right?
Right.
I had to sit with myself and say, hey, yo, what's up? Like, why is it that every time you have these big emotions, you run to buying something in the store, right? Which then affects my money, right? And my dad was in the military. When he would deploy, I would go and get stuff. That was just a coping mechanism for myself. But when I had to sit down and have those hard conversations with myself, and I'm like, okay, now when I have big emotions, I can go window shopping. And if I see something that I truly want, then I'll purchase it, but I'm not purchasing these things just to purchase them. That also
trigger response.
Yeah. Some people just need therapy. That is
all people need
I can't dive into those, like I can't dive that deep, right? Because I'm not a licensed clinician or licensed therapist or anything like that. But we could get to the root of why you're making these financial decisions. And though I may not be able to help heal that why, now I know the why, and we can move around that. And then just if I had myself as a client and I am talking to my coach and I'm telling her I have these big emotions and I want to go shopping and this and this and this, I will sit with myself and say, hey, are you going shopping to avoid this feeling? Or is it something that you need when you go shopping? Like, just start to reel that mindset in, right? Because at the end of the day, it comes from the mind.
So how do you keep your clients inspired and accountable, especially those who may feel discouraged after previous financial setbacks?
One thing I do is I always encourage them, right? Like I'm always rooting for them. They know that I'm always rooting for them. I always have their best interest at heart, even when they're making decisions that they don't want to answer to, right? Yeah. Because what happened is they come into session, they're going to be like, all right, you're going to be mad at me. Like, I went and took out this loan. I know I shouldn't have, but I needed it because of that. Okay. So in that instance, for me, I don't get mad about it. Like, it's okay. I just redirect them. Okay, you done took out this loan, or you got this unexpected expense that came up. Okay, let's revisit our spending plan and let's go ahead and incorporate that into the plan. Because a lot of people think these spending plans, budgets, whatever you want to call them, is that they're set in stone, and they're not. They're always changing, right? They're going to change. And what we have today might not be valid for tomorrow, because dang, my car broke down. Now I have to start. Now my first priority is getting my car fixed.
Mhm.
But instead of you just jumping out there and saying, okay, I'm going to go get my car fixed, da 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 da, I'm going to swipe this and this. I challenge you to, before you do that, come back to your budget, come back to your spending plan and say, okay, we're going to move these things around. We're going to do this and this. We're going to put this here. We're going to put your car expense here. And now this is what the rest of the month, the rest of the year, whatever the quarter is going to look like because of this. And you'll feel more empowered and confident in the decision, the financial decision that you're going to make.
Yeah. And even the inherent accountability of them coming to you and say, I know you're not going to like this. You already know that, at least I know you thought about it then. Because if you had to come to me and say, I'm not going to like it, then there had to be at least one more layer of you thinking about it now that you wouldn't have done before. Let's celebrate that. At least you thought about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You thought about it. You knew I was going to hate. You knew I was going to be mad. Okay. I'm not mad. And what I don't like to, because at the end of the day, it's your life, right? So what is it for me to be mad about? No, I want to make sure that now that you've made this decision, how are we going to now change our plan to fit this decision in? And how does this decision, unless it's something dire or like an emergency or whatever, how does this decision align with the vision you have for your life?
Right.
The mission that we have right now and your goals. If it does not align with those things, let's take a step back and rethink that decision.
And that's the big thing. Because right now, Tia is an extension of my goals. If I have to go and say, I know that Tia is not going to like this, then that just means you're not making decisions based on your goals, because I'm just taking what you told me and putting it in the mirror back at you. So now all you have to do is think about that decision or think about the long-term goal. And if you keep that long-term goal in your mind, decisions are easy to make.
Absolutely. And like I said, I compare it to personal training. I've had personal trainers and I have been like, I ain't been eating too hot.
And they're like, you said you wanted to have a hot girl summer.
And so what's going on? I don't want to answer to them because they might make me run a little more. At the end of the day, if this is a goal that I want for myself, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be transparent about the decisions that I've made, because that is also a big thing, is the transparency. Because if I don't know what you have going on and you're not fully upfront about it, then I can't help you. It's going to come out eventually, because we're going to be combing through your finances and I'm going to be like, what's this 5262? What's that? I see that every month. What is that? Yeah, then they'll be like, oh yeah, I did.
Come on, come clean.
Like, just be upfront so we can make it work in your benefit, because ultimately it's for you.
Get you to your goal quicker. That's it.
Absolutely.
So for someone that wants to start a financial coaching business, or to your younger self, what would you tell them to focus on right away?
If somebody was starting, I would tell them to focus on their personal finances, right? Because that's where you're going to have the most experience, right? Because at the end of the day, if you can manage your own money, right? Because my thing is I'm not finna hire somebody who can't manage their own money, right? Because if you can't manage your money, why would I trust you to manage my money? Absolutely not. So I think that would be the first step, is to focus on your own financial goals. I think for me, starting out, I probably would have targeted the youth a little bit more, because like I said in the beginning of this, my foundation started as a kid, and not everybody has that foundation. And we see that financial literacy is becoming a more and more talked about subject, which I absolutely love, because growing up, it's taboo to talk about money for real, right? So I value the fact that me and my dad are very transparent when we're having these money talks, right?
Mhm.
Because people can't always have those conversations with their parents. But I would target the youth a little bit more. One, because parents gonna pay for it, right? They may not get financial, they might not pay for me for themselves. But one
What they
thing we
gonna do?
all love, the youth, when they
Love
come
the
to
kids.
it, right. Oh, they got a financial literacy class? Yep, I'm finna sign you up, right? I would target the youth more, especially because like at that high school age, right? We're preparing to go to college. This is where you're going to start making those big financial decisions for yourself, right? You're going to start taking out these student loans. The credit card company's finna come for you. You probably about to sign your first lease of some sort, right? So I think that's where I would make those changes.
Yeah.
Second to what I did was focusing on my own personal finance journey.
Yeah. And that's honestly what I'm looking to do now. Stay tuned for that. But the youth is where my sights are. Of course, the big people are what's going to keep the lights on, but the youth is where the passion is right now. So getting them to a place where they understand these concepts, and it's like it's second nature to them that they understand these concepts to where they don't even realize they're learning it, is the way that we need to present it so that they get the concepts, because like our lighter counterparts, they start teaching this stuff way early, so they come up knowing that stuff.
Absolutely. And so that's why in my businesses, mostly with the Tough Spot, because Sky was a little bit younger, she wasn't even born when I started doing taxes and stuff like that. But now that I have the Tough Spot, my focus is whatever table I'm sitting at, I need a seat right next to her. Like she needs a seat right next to me, because when I'm going to these tables, I need her to see what we're talking about. I need her to see how we're handling the business and the money aspects of it, right? She's only 6, so we're not going too deep into it. But at the end of the day, I need her to just be a witness to this, because as she's growing and as we're growing in the businesses, I need her to, eventually I want her to learn all aspects of the business, right? Learn how to do the bookkeeping and stuff like that. But then on the personal side, she needs to learn how to be able to manage her money, and how mommy manages the money, and how I'm managing the bills and the this and the that. And so I think that's great that you are targeting the youth. Let me know how I could get in on that. Just let me know, because that is truly where I am most passionate about, is the youth. Because at the end of the day, like I said, my journey started in high school, right? And I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for those decisions that I made.
And we'll talk offline about the animator and the stuff that I'm talking to now for that. And even there's an app development opportunity that I have now. Just getting in that space and being able to get it to be more accessible is the goal. So yeah, more to come on that. But tell us where we can find you, like even all of the places that you are. I know you hate social media, but people still need to find you.
Okay, so you can
find I guess you can find me at...
Okay, so you can find Uzzell and Associates. My Instagram is Talk Tax with Tia. Y'all don't get on me about the lack of content. I just had a marketing meeting with myself yesterday. You can find me Talk Tax with Tia on Instagram. It's on Instagram. I just gave Instagram. Yeah, on Facebook, it's Tia Uzzell and Associates. And then my website is www.tiauzzell.com. And then for the Tough Spot, it's @_Tough Spot on Instagram. Facebook is The Tough Spot. TikTok is listen, it's so many nowadays.
I know.
So my face.
Just send it to me and I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, I'll do all
they
that.
They can find you
but
there.
The Tough Spot, come in.
What's the address?
Oh yeah, because we did just get that. The address is 6433 US 301, Riverview, Florida 33578. All the good things.
Yeah. And do you want to shout out your social media manager or?
Yeah, shout out to Martasia. Her Instagram is at m.
On the screen. We got it on the screen.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you. But shout out to her, and then shout out to my mom, my dad, and my best friend who's been showing up to all of the things to help facilitate. It's definitely been a team effort, and I wouldn't be able to attain any level of success without them.
Awesome. Thank you again, Tia, for giving us your nuggets of wisdom when it comes to personal finance and budgeting and tax and all of the things. So this has been another Credit Chats, and thank you guys for coming out. This was Tia Uzzell again, and all of her information will be on all the show notes and everything, but we'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Whoa. Were you about to leave without hitting that like and subscribe button? I mean, you'll be back, right? So why not save yourself the hassle and just do it now? It's like putting your keys by the door, or packing your lunch, or packing 3 days before your flight and not the night of. It just makes life easier. Oh wait, did you just do it? I knew you had it in you. I appreciate that. See you next time. Same place, same channel. And remember, everything you need is inside of you.